late at night. Could have been some over there who hunted thought they got. Could have been that new. Could have been all kind of.
Jail staff are leaking what's going on with Big U after his son Jabari was fatally shot, and what's coming out is way worse than anyone expected. Sources say dude's shattered. Luce Cannon described Big U as heartbroken and emotionally destroyed. Luce is saying Jabari's death hit Big U harder than anyone outside could imagine, and it's showing. People inside say his tough exterior is gone. The grief is raw, hitting him deep every day. Big U is struggling to even go through the motions in his cell. Folks who see him day to day say it's like the tragedy broke him in ways the public never sees. Now, this piece of information pretty much clashes with everything people thought they knew about Big U. Before this tragedy struck, the focus was all on Big U's legal battles and his security inside the jail. Now, insiders are saying the emotional side of this story is huge, way bigger than anyone's talking about. But one thing is for sure here, this situation confirms Luce's biggest fears. Jabari knew the person who shot him, that's one. And two, this hit wasn't random. Now, we can't go about saying who it really was. It could have been retaliation or tied to some personal or gang-related beef. Maybe it was because of Big U's role in the Rollin' 60s Crips. But if Luce is right, Jabari's death is a part of something bigger, and that danger is now right in Big U's lap behind bars. Now, let's talk suspects. Right now, there's no confirmed lead on who took Jabari out, and no suspects have been named. What we do know is that witnesses say Jabari was shot by someone inside a car when he got close to it on 69th and Figueroa in South LA on Halloween night. The shooter bounced, and LAPD hasn't dropped any descriptions or identified anyone yet. But if you take a look at the bigger picture, it's not that hard to connect the dots. This has to do something with Big U. U runs deep as a leader of the Rollin' 60s Crips in LA. That comes with enemies, rival gangs, anyone trying to challenge his influence, and people in his music circles who might hold grudges. Not to mention, dude's facing heavy federal charges too, so it's safe to say there's a lot of folks who might want payback. With all that in mind, a lot of people think Jabari's shooting could be tied to Big U's legal battles or gang beef. Street culture often warns, the sons of the sinner get taken out, meaning kids of notorious figures can end up in the crossfire. Sadly, history backs that up. Think Nipsey Hussle getting caught in complicated rivalries, or the shooting of Rayshawn Williams, a young rapper tied to Big U's label who got murked after recording a song dissing him. The feds say Big U ordered someone to take Williams out back in 2021, and it's part of the 43-count indictment against him. The case shows just how lethal the stakes can get when you're running a crew and a music empire in LA. And just to clear it up, the football connection, Big U's son Dian Henley plays linebacker for the LA Chargers. Jabari was his brother. Bottom line, Big U's empire, his legal battles, and his gang ties create a dangerous backdrop. And now his son may have become a target in the same cycle of revenge that's haunted his world for years. Then again, there's always the option of his son just getting caught at the wrong place at the wrong time, or worse, like getting backdoored, like Whack 100 said, mingling around sus parts of LA, like Pimp Central, around midnight, especially a smoke shop. It's literally asking for trouble. Street OGs like Hoover Gumby think Jabari was actually backdoored.
So he went anywhere unarmed. So who was with him? Why would he walk to the car if he didn't know the people? So that leads me to believe that he was backdoor.
Jabari could have been set up by someone he knew. Think about it. It makes no sense that Jabari would walk up to a car on Figueroa and 69th without knowing who was inside. Big U's son wasn't naive. He grew up around gang politics and street codes. Walking up unarmed or to strangers is a no-go. All this points to a personal betrayal. Someone calling him to the car that he trusted, then ambushing him. Whatever really took place on that Halloween, only time will tell. But the aftermath of that hit is kinda crazy. We legit might have a full-on gang war on our hands here. Gang War Inc. The streets of LA been uneasy ever since Jabbar got gunned down. Everyone's on edge, and the way things are moving, it's only a matter of time before something snaps. A Rolling 60s OG named 600 went viral calling out Jabari's homies for not sliding after his death. Once that clip hit the web, the slide for Baby U talk started taking off. Even cats outside LA started echoing it. Since then, everybody's pointing fingers, and the wrong move could light a fire across the the city. The vibe in LA right now is shaky. Everyone's watching their back, waiting to see who makes the next move. But one thing that might change this whole story is the fact that Jabari actually left some sort of message before he was taken out. Let's call it as it is. Baby U was posting some very strange and worrying stuff online before he died. His Twitter, which was later deleted, showed that he was struggling mentally, talking about anxiety, hospital visits, and personal issues, even posting medical records. He often put himself down in the third person, posting messages that seemed cryptic but revealed his mindset. One post even referenced his dad being a killer, which, while it could be lyrics, still came off as a dark, real-life message. Other posts showed him frustrated with his family, calling out his mom and his dad, and revealing feelings of isolation. He even shared disturbing personal incidents, like injuries and conflicts, hinting at the pressure and mental strain he was under. These posts paint a picture of someone battling a lot: depression, anxiety, and feelings of being unsupported while living in a dangerous environment. At the end of the day, it's obvious Jabari was carrying some heavy stuff, mentally and emotionally. These tweets, his weird behavior, and the circumstances around his death all suggest he was sending out some creepy messages before he passed. Now, let's talk about Big U, since he might be the reason why all of this is taking place to begin with. His jail vibes are mad tense right now. Because of his charges, he was already on strict lockdown. But now, with the tragedy fresh, jail officials might start thinking about moving him. We're talking higher security, more isolation, maybe protective custody, basically putting him somewhere safer and away from anyone who might try to take advantage of him. In prison, a move like that ain't just about safety, it's also about power. Moving him could shift the whole jail dynamics, less risk of beef, but also changes who's watching him and who's trying to challenge him. Right now, everyone's waiting to see where he ends up because that placement could be everything. But you can't help but feel like the doors are closing in on Big U right now. I mean, the dude was a menace for the longest time. Sure, he put on this nice persona when it comes to his public appearance, but behind the scenes, let's be honest, he's a demon. Big U isn't just a name on a legal filing or a headline. He's a storm. For years, he ran what prosecutors call a mafia-like criminal enterprise tied to the Rollin 60 Crips. Extortion, human trafficking, fraud. Big U moved through them all like it was business as usual. And now, with his son Jabari gone and whispers around Nipsey Hussle resurfacing, it's like everything he built, his street power, reputation, and empire, is finally circling back to him. From the streets to the courtroom, Big U's fingerprints are everywhere. Prosecutors say he ordered hits, including the death of Rayshawn Williams after a diss track hit the web. Millions of dollars, public funds, charitable donations are gone, funneled into his pockets. Insiders say he intimidated businesses, coerced NBA associates, and even bragged in wiretaps about being bigger than Nipsey Hussle, claiming to have disciplined him before Hussle's death. But his story doesn't stop on the block. We're only now finding out that his personal life mirrors the chaos of his criminal enterprise. We saw how Jabari was acting before being fatally shot. You can imagine how Big U's lifestyle influence could have influenced instability at home. The violence and power he commanded in the streets may have created ripples that hit his family hardest. With Jabari gone, the consequences of that life are undeniable. Then there's the shadow of Nipsey Hussle. Big U's name has been connected to Hussle's before, through speculation, street rumors, and wiretapped boasts. Nothing's been proven, but the whispers remain. And now, with Jabari's death, it's like karma is circling back. It's not far-fetched to think Big U may be finally facing the consequences of every violent, manipulative, or reckless choice he ever made. Decisions that didn't just affect the streets, but the people closest to him. And the real tension comes because nobody knows what's coming next. Rumors are swirling that certain crews in Los Angeles are quietly checking their positions, checking who's a real one and who ain't. Now that Jabari is gone, alliances could be forming, or maybe already exist, that aren't visible to the public or even law enforcement. Legal angles add another layer. His defense team may be working on strategies that aren't public yet. New evidence, potential plea negotiations, or unexpected witnesses could shake things up. But right now, the speculation is thick. Some insiders hint that leaks could drop at any moment, exposing secrets that were buried for years. Secrets tied not just to his criminal empire, but possibly to the bigger stories people are whispering about, like Nip. Coming back to Jabari, people are slowly coming out and speaking about losing Jabari. It's starting to hit people close to him. One of the most notable is his brother, Chargers linebacker Dion Henley. Just 2 days after Jabari was shot and killed in Los Angeles, Dion took the field against the Tennessee Titans, carrying grief heavy on his shoulders but refusing to let it stop him. Dion said the last last 48 hours as traumatic, saying everything hit him pretty hard. Despite the pain, he made it clear that he had a job to do, and he delivered 9 tackles and a sack, a performance that was as much about honoring his brother as it was about football. It's a small but powerful window into how tragedy spreads beyond the immediate family. For people who knew Jabari, or even just knew of him through the streets or social media, the loss is personal. Friends, associates, and members of the local community are beginning to speak out, posting condolences, sharing memories, and even raising questions about what led to such a violent end. Some are cautious, offering words of support without getting into specifics, while others are hinting at bigger stories behind the shooting, creating a slow drip of whispers that everyone is listening to. Jabari's death is also resonating in spaces where the Henley name carries weight. Social media has been a channel for reflection and reaction, with posts honoring his life, highlighting his personality, and calling attention to the senselessness of the violence. Unlike many tragedies that remain private, this one is being processed publicly, in part because of the family's prominence and in part because people want to see justice, or at least acknowledgement, play out. The way Dayan handled himself on the field also underscores a larger theme. Grief is public in this world, in sports, in the streets, in communities tied to these high-profile families. Personal loss intersects with public performance. Every tackle, every post-game comment, every media interview is filtered through the lens of both personal tragedy and public expectation. Dayan's decision to play, to step up, and to channel his heartbreak into action shows how those affected by violence often navigate dual realities, private grief and public scrutiny. As more people start speaking, it's clear that Jabari's death isn't isolated. The stories, reactions, and even subtle social media cues paint a picture of ripple effects spreading across multiple layers: family, community, streets, and public life. It's a reminder that tragedy like this doesn't stay contained, and it also hints at the broader consequences for those tied to the Henley name, from legal fallout to street-level alliances and public perception. This slow emergence of voices and memories show that the impact of loss isn't just personal. It forces people to respond in ways they might not be ready for. Every mention of Jabari, every tribute, and every reflection is part of a larger conversation about loss, responsibility, and the pressures that come with living in a world where the streets and public life are tightly intertwined. If tensions in the streets escalate into a full-blown gang war, Jabari's death could just be the beginning. We already said that rival crews are watching, waiting for openings, and testing loyalties. Every high-profile killing, every public loss, shifts the balance of power. And in a city like Los Angeles, a single spark can ignite a chain reaction. There's no telling who might get caught in the crossfire, or how quickly violence could spread. For Big U, the stakes are already sky high. He's grieving a son, facing federal prison time, and dealing with a network of enemies both inside and outside the jail. Even if the streets stay relatively calm, the emotional toll alone is enormous. The loss of Jabari isn't just personal, it's symbolic of everything Big U has built and everything he could lose. That's the reality of the situation. Whether or not a gang war breaks out, this tragedy has already changed him. Locked behind bars, with the weight of his empire and family pressing down, Big U might spend the rest of his life paying the price for choices made long ago. The streets, the law, and personal grief are all colliding, and the next move, by him or others, could define how this story ends. Every choice Big U ever made, every hit ordered, every dollar he took that wasn't his now loops back into the jail walls and beyond. What's left is a man confronting the sum of his life, grief pressing in from all sides, and consequences he may not be able to control.